Let's talk about a little about the technology here, and what we're looking at. So this is our TRH. This is interesting because you guys actually do have a jib in-house.
We do.
Would you say that this kind of works like a jib, or?
Man, I would argue that if you're watching at home, you would not be able to tell me if this were a jib or not. You would assume that this was a jib. Once you work all the axes, because, we have this on a 20-foot track, side to side. We have it on the robotic ped. And then, so once you start working all the axes of that thing, it gives you that parallax, it gives you that depth and everything that it feels just like a jib.
Right.
And especially if you have a congregation maybe that's not ready for a jib in the room, which I totally get.
Right.
This is the next best thing.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Would you sit under a jib?
I've gotten used to it enough. Although when I'm somewhere that I don't know who's operating it, I'm a little concerned about
I would be too.
I mean, there's a legitimate liability concern with the jib in a lot of ways.
Right.
Even the best operators run into issues.
Yeah.
But this, for the footprint of it, for it not being quite as obtrusive as a jib, not even close to as obtrusive as a jib, you don't lose a lot doing this instead of a jib.
Right.
In fact, in our case, it works better because a lot of times the shots that we want are those low shots that are moving right behind heads. Well, we've got an aisle back here, so the jib can't go too low.
Right.
But this guy sits just a few inches behind people and can get all the foreground that we need, and it's a beautiful depth of field shot.
So when they're sitting, it goes down and it still gets behind the head. So again, you're getting that feeling that you're inside the congregation.
Yeah.
And then when they're standing and worshiping, then you can elevate it up and
on top of that, because of how insanely quiet these things are, they're just built so well.
Yeah.
I was concerned when these went in that we would constantly have people like turning back looking like, what's that?
Right.
Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Occasionally some kids will because they're interested.
Yeah.
But we never, ever have people turning around during the sermon or even worship looking at the camera.
Right.
Because they don't know it's there. It's just so quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having this interview right now and
they're all going.
I think the fan and the camera is louder than anything else that's going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.